Welcome to Chapter 1, Types of Media. The big keyword for this part is poem. These are the three different types of media we'll talk about and your book talks about. And then acronym is POEM. It stands for paid, owned, and earned media. Let's look at the first one. Owned media, arguably the easiest to digest. Owned media is basically what the brand or company controls. Their website, their own blog, their mobile site, their email list, all their social media channels, their pages, which they own. Okay? Basically, if the company owns a channel or controls the content, it's owned media. And here on the bottom it says customers. Why does it say that? Because customers are interacting and buying products of your website and going to your owned media. That's why it says customers here. In comparison to paid media. What is paid media? As the word says, there's anything that's paid advertising. Traditionally, it will be like a television ad, radio spot, billboard. Nowadays, obviously, with social media marketing, we're talking about pay-per-click, display ads, social media ads, paid influencers, paid content promotions, and so on. This is when a brand pays to get attention. That's why it says on the bottom, general consumers, because maybe these people or some of these people were not aware of our product or services, which leads them into the awareness phase, a different phase in the marketing funnel, if you will, as a refresher from your Principles of Marketing class. Okay. Lastly, last but not least, earned media. Hopefully, to our efforts through owned media and paid media, we can get earned media. Keyword here, word of mouth. Think about it. Earned media is basically what other people say about your brand or company, which includes any kind of comment, mention, share, reposts, any also media coverage, any user-generated content, UGC, any social ambassadors, all of the above. On the bottom, could be deceiving a little bit. Careful, it says super fans, very positive. However, earned media can be positive or negative. For example, it's very positive if somebody makes a good customer testimonial, people react to it, people buy your products, obviously good. However, it can also be negative. Just think about the United Breaks Guitars UGC example. If you have a bad example of your product getting viral attention, but the negative one, like United Breaks Guitars viral video we watched in our social media as a disruptor of traditional marketing video, then it can be negative as well. So careful, earned media can be positive or negative. It's both. You earned it though, okay? This is it in a nutshell. Your book breaks it up this way. Go over this chart as well. What I want to highlight here though is the key is that these media do not work separately. They're not mutually exclusive. They overlap. Let's look at where they overlap. As an example, paid media and owned media overlap here. What's going on here? How can it be both? Paid media, obviously anything you pay. Owned media, anything you own. But how can it be both? That's this small bubble. I want to make a quick comment. For example, if it's paid and owned, where they intersect, the brand is using maybe money to promote its own content, something they created. For example, boosting an Instagram post they created, running an ad that drives people to a company's website or landing page. Simple as that. Then it's both. Here we have intersection between earned media and owned media. Let's look at this bubble. Where this intersects, the brand creates maybe content people actually want to share. Think of helpful blog posts, funny TikTok memes, or generally strong SEO content that gets picked up and shared. That will be the goal. Okay, so hopefully we can get that small piece as well where it's shared and earned and owned at the same time. Last intersection is earned and paid. What is that intersection? That basically, think about it. Earned media is something somebody else created, not yourself. So the brand uses maybe a paid promotion to amplify what the people are already talking about you. For example, we can promote a customer testimonial, or we can boost and repost a viral post, individual, a client, a customer created, or we can also partner with influencers here. So this will be this intersection. Just remember, they're not mutually exclusive. And in the middle, we will have all three. What is that? Here is leverage paid, owned, and earned media for a full-scale marketing strategy. So in the middle is the goal, basically, for a full-scale social media strategy where owned media content gives the brand a home base, if you will. Paid media expands their reach and awareness. And maybe earned media creates the credibility, because that's what people say about you. Okay? Let's look at a few examples. Owned media, as I mentioned earlier, might be the easiest to remember. As an example, we have here Duolingo's Instagram page. Anything they post, they've created. This channel, this social media page is theirs. They have control. They write the captions. They post the content. You can direct. You have admin rights. You can direct the comment section as well. And this is true for all social media pages they own and websites or blogs. Okay? As I said, company website, blog, edit, all the sites created and managed by the company. Now, paid media. Let's look at a few simple examples. You might get an ad, sponsored ad from Nike, from the new shoes. If you see an ad like this, pretty simple. This is a social media ad. Nike paid for it. This is a paid media, paid ad, okay? Another example, very common, influencer partnership, like a partnership ad, okay? For example, Jordan Childs, she's an American gymnast, Olympic gold winner 2024, if you don't know, is posting here, for example, an Uber post. She partnered up with Uber on Instagram, and we can tell it is paid media because of the caption it includes, a disclosure. It says right away, first word, Uber partner, says right away. And she writes, as a student athlete and business owner, I'm always on the go, so my Uber One for student membership comes in clutch. Get savings on Uber and Uber Eats, sign up today and get 4 weeks free. Fantastic call to action as well here. And she tagged Uber Eats and made a nice disclosure. And as I said, Uber partner, the hashtag comes right away. It's pretty clear from the get-go that it's an ad. And that's for a reason. Legally, you have to always disclaim when you're getting paid to make an ad, okay? Doesn't have to be just paid, careful. So if you are an influencer yourself or you own a brand or company, you want to do some paid partnership campaigns, influencer campaigns, there needs to be a clear disclosure when there's a material connection, they say, between the influencer and the brand. This could be payment, free products, gifts, trips. Careful, any business, family ties to the company, you have to disclose that. And affiliate commissions, anything, you have to disclose that. You can't bury them. You can't try to hide it. You can get into trouble. And this happened in the past. So let's learn from it. Let's take a look at an example where Warner Brothers was sued by the FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, the federal government, because it failed to adequately disclose it paid online influencers to post gameplay videos. In a nutshell, Warner Brothers paid influencers, YouTubers to make videos about a game, positive videos about it, and there were not enough disclosures on the videos in the description or in the title. Okay, the reason it went viral back then because PewDiePie was one of the influencers. And PewDiePie, if you don't know, he used to be #1 channel on YouTube. He was one of the first YouTube channels to reach 1 million subscribers to begin with. And he was #1 YouTuber for around 6 years. He was one of the first who broke a lot of subscriber record numbers. And back then, having 1 million subscribers was extremely unusual. In around 2010, there were only about 10 channels who reached that level. And he was also in, I think, the top 100 people who reached 1 million subscribers. But he was the first who reached other milestones for sure. So compared to today, where you have thousands and thousands of channels with 1 million subscribers or more. Okay, so they failed to disclose it adequately, FTC argued, because it's not in the title. Maybe it wasn't said verbally. It's not in the description. We have to actually click on more, and only then we can see this video was sponsored. Careful, this can be considered deceiving practice. You can get into some legal issues. As a company, Warner Brothers had the sponsorship with PewDiePie and the influencers. Okay, but Warner Brothers got into trouble. That's why a lot of companies send a campaign brief or influencer brief to these creators nowadays, where they create a clear creative direction, key message, talking points. They're also called mandatories, such as brand tags, hashtags, promo codes, links, and of course, FTC approved disclosure language. When needed, brands may also provide a complete scripted copy to the influencers to make sure the paid sponsorships are clearly disclosed and legally compliant. Okay. More examples. Lord & Taylor settled with the FTC as well regarding similar deceiving practice. They didn't disclose a marketing campaign. They didn't write that it was an ad with lots of different influencers. Another thing you have to be careful about, CSGO, that's a video game, Lotto owners settles with the FTC as well, because it's the first ever complaint against individual social media influencers themselves. Why is that? The influencers made videos using a basic, so in a nutshell, gambling website without verbal or written disclosure that they actually have stake in that company. They own that company, the website, the gambling site, or part owner. They just played on the website, made fun comments, and made tons of videos about these websites without disclosing to their audience that they actually own that website or partially own that has something to do with the website. This can be very, very, very bad. Legally careful, especially if your audience is underage. This can have devastating legal consequences. So you got to be aware of that, not just as a company, but also as a influencer yourself. Which means paid media, we have to have a influencer brand fit. Why? The challenge with paid media is always trust, because the product has to make sense with the creator's content, audience, and their credibility. For example, screenshot of a finance creator, all about stock market, finances. So if that person was to, this is just a hypothetical example, if this YouTuber, this creator was to promote an app regarding budgeting, an app regarding anything money involved, we as an audience most likely will say, hey, that sounds legit. This person has credibility, has all these subscribers, all these videos, all this knowledge. We can listen to them speak. We can dissect what they're saying. Most likely, this app might be good because they're vouching for it, even though it might be an ad. Problem is, when there's no fit, let's assume this influencer, this content creator regarding finances made an ad for a mobile video game or for makeup or for something that's not in their expertise. This will make no sense. We will think as an audience, oh, they just wanted the money. I don't think they like the product actually. We as an audience will automatically demote that product or that service and think that product is probably pretty bad. They just pay influencers to get their word out there, but this is obviously the wrong audience. It's not a good fit. So think about it. Paid media is not just about buying reach. It's about buying the right reach with the right message through the right voice. Because when the fit feels authentic, paid media's goal is almost that it can carry a sort of word of mouth quality like earned media, even though it's still a paid sponsorship at the end of the day and must be disclosed. But when it feels forced, it can backfire for both the influencer and the brand. Last but not least, earned media, that's any like, comment, or repost you get on any of the channels. Might be also your like, dislike ratio, your comments, reposts, anytime your name is mentioned. Okay, depending on channel, it might be different ways. Okay, somebody can tag you, somebody can reply to you, can like your comments, repost them, you name it. Earned media can be positive or negative. Now, which type of media is most valuable? Question for you, what do you think? I hinted it earlier. So let's think about it. Do you think paid media is the best? Let's say you have a paid media and paid ad, and a salesman is trying to do their sleazy sales pitch, talking about that they are the best, they have the best product, they have the best service. Would you believe them? No, probably not. Compared to a random third-party person telling you about the product, the service they use, the company they really like for reasons A, B, C, D. And they have no stake, no connection with the company. They were not paid to say anything. Same. I think it is earned media. Earned media, why? Because word of mouth is king and queen. Earned media, for example, the UGC, the user-generated content, which acronym you should know as well for the exam and for your just general marketing, uses a lot of acronyms. UGC is a big one. Is key. Just think about it. You go to Amazon, you look at reviews. What did other people say about the product? Did they like it? Dislike it? Why did they like it? Maybe you go on Google. Maybe you go on Airbnb looking about a hotel or apartment you want to stay in. Maybe you're looking for a restaurant in Memphis. You're looking at the reviews. This is all earned media. You can't really fake that, or it's hard to fake. People like what other people are saying about it. Same way you go into a movie theater, you're going to look maybe for IMDb ratings. Is the movie worth my time and money? Yes, no. Okay? This is why earned media, your textbook agrees as well. Earned media is the most valuable because people trust in other people more than they trust ads. Okay, a review, a repost, a TikTok reaction, or customer recommendation creates this social proof. It feels way more authentic because it is not coming directly from the brand or company. Okay, think about a common thing that social media marketing is trying to do. It's always about growing a positive word of mouth about the company, the product, the brand. Okay, but earned media usually doesn't happen by accident. Brands need strong owned media to give people something worth sharing, okay? And sometimes they also need additional paid media to push the content to the right audience. That's what we talked about. Audience, and we'll talk about audience in chapter 3 as well. So owned media gives you the control. Paid media gives you the reach, if you will, the awareness. And earned media gives you the credibility. Credibility is huge. The best campaigns usually use all three. But the most valuable is earned media. Example, earned media, another benefit of what earned media can do, it can lead to viral posts. For example, from user-generated content, careful, it can be positive and negative. Negative was the United Breaks Guitars example from the previous video. This is a good example we're going to take a look at now. I'm just going to play the video and then we're going to talk about it. You might know the video as well. All right, you might know the video, you might not. You might think to yourself, Professor T, what are we watching? What is this? This is a 22-second clip from a creator on TikTok. His username is 420dogface208. His real name is Nathan. And some marketing takeaways. This went viral big time during COVID. Peak COVID around September 2020, showing him in the morning just drinking cran raspberry juice, Ocean Spray. The brand is visible. However, this is completely user-generated content. The user generated it themselves, they created it and posted it. Let's look at some marketing takeaways though. If you've seen the video, you might thought, oh, that's funny, it's a good video clip, it's a good video, good mood, or hit the nerve of the time perfectly because we're all stuck at home, nervous about this disease, what's going on. And this guy's chilling outside on the skateboard and enjoying life, it seems, living in the moment. It's very authentic. Marketing takeaways though. UGC example gone right this time. Look at a few marketing examples. There's a lot. We can talk about this forever, but let's wrap it up. Ocean Spray benefited big time. They got a massive free, think about it, free product exposure and increased revenue during that time. They struggled even to keep the cran raspberry juice on shelves during those periods. Ocean Spray also increased production and hired over 200 plus seasonal employees at one facility during that time. One marketing analysis reported this viral clip generated around 15 billion media impressions around in around 1 month, 30 days for Ocean Spray. So they're like, oh, thanks very much for this clip. However, they were active as well. That did not just sit on the sideline. They reacted as well right away, and I'll show you how in a minute. Fleetwood Mac, that's the band, benefited big time because this song is from the 70s. It's from 1977, I believe. So their song Dreams re-entered the Billboard charts at number 21. It was number 1 on iTunes, number 6 on Spotify US charts. The whole album, Rumors, climbed to number 7 in the Billboard charts after more than 40 years after release. Pretty wild. And they had a lot of record vinyl sales, and they profited big time as well. The band, the drummer of the band, reacted to the video pretty timely as well and recreated the original video. Also, same juice used, Ocean Spray, the raspberry one, went viral as well. Good response and timely. That's what you have to do as a good marketer. Nathan, the creator, benefited himself also. Why? He gained lots of attention, obviously. Went viral, millions of new followers. He got some donations, brand opportunities, brand deals. Essentially, think about it. If you don't know, he went from living in an RV to buying a 5-bedroom house. So essentially, it was an overnight social media influencer career started. He also got a music video clip with Snoop Dogg, you name it. Pretty interesting. You can look him up. TikTok benefited as a platform. They showed that the platform is very powerful for music, for sharing memes, and for brand discovery as well. So this wasn't unnoticed by brands. So they gained tons of traction and user during that time. The whole marketing lesson, viral marketing often works best when it feels real, simple, and emotionally relatable, rather than overly produced. And brands cannot always manufacture or create these viral moments. They just happen sometimes because of a lot of puzzle pieces that have to fall into place, and algorithm luck, timing, all of the above. But as a brand, as a company, you can be ready to recognize it and especially respond quickly. You want to amplify it without making it feel fake or forced. And this is what successful social media marketers are doing. Ocean Spray succeeded in exactly that, because it leaned into this authentic consumer moment instead of trying to take over or control the narrative too much. They even gifted him this truck, obviously with their product, but it created this fun, loving moment. It was always about consumer focused, you focused, audience focused. They always focused on their product and delivering it to them, giving back to the community, giving back to the creator. People loved that, and that resonated with lots of people. That's why they took advantage in a positive way. This is why earned media is often most valuable, because it's part of this poem. It carries this credibility. Credibility is a big keyword, because when real people create and share the story for you, the brand gains awareness, trust, and cultural relevance in a way paid media alone usually cannot buy.